Before I get on out of here, I had to talk about a story that's very, very important. And albeit indirectly, it involves CaitlinClark, national attention, and possibly even top-level political heat. The league commissioner might want to invest in a stress ball because when Congress starts asking questions and federal agencies take notice, things are officially serious. CaitlinClark is in her second year and has been treated more like a WWE punching bag than a rising sports icon. And now Washington is watching. So here's a quick question before we dig in. Should the federal government step in to address what's going on? Or is this league just too far gone to be fixed? The truth is, the federal government is now paying attention to the WNBA because no one in leadership thought it might be a problem when Clark kept getting slammed game after game. And while the league's front office holds meetings that probably sound like, let's just wait it out, one thing is becoming crystal clear: this isn't going away. Look, no one cheers when the government shows up with an investigation. No one wants officials strolling into arenas with clipboards and legal pads. But when players are throwing elbows, referees are pretending not to see, and leadership stays silent, then the silence itself becomes the issue. So let's start with the commissioner. The person charged with leading the league has practically vanished. If she had spoken up early, if she had shown any leadership at all, maybe this wouldn't have snowballed. But instead, Clark keeps taking hits off ball, during dead balls, from behind, you name it. And the punishment? Non-existent. No ejections. No fines. No suspensions. Just vibes. Now, let me be clear. I'm not taking credit for this coverage. But let's break down what triggered the firestorm. There were 3 hits in particular that caught national attention. One was a now infamous blindside during a stoppage in play. Another was a full body check that looked more like football than basketball. Then there was a casual shove that had less to do with defense and more to do with dominance. Add in a sneak shot to the back, and it stopped looking like a professional league and more like a scene out of an arcade fighting game. And none of these were legitimate basketball plays. Not a single one. These weren't hard fouls or aggressive defense. They were targeted, deliberate body checks, as if someone was auditioning for an action movie, not a basketball court. And the league? Crossed arms. No action. You'd think with the money Clark is bringing in, sold-out arenas, booming ratings, skyrocketing jersey sales, they'd at least act like they care. But apparently, someone somewhere crunched the numbers and decided it's cheaper to let her get beat up than to hold people accountable. Let's be honest. The league wants the revenue she generates without the responsibility to protect her. She boosts every metric. Merchandise sales up 600%, local viewership spiked 170%, team valuation soared, subscriptions jumped, engagement rose more than 600%, and her personal endorsements topped millions. She brings attention, but what does she get in return? Shoulders to the ribs and silence from leadership. At some point, silence becomes complicity. And now that a U.S. senator has stepped in with a letter demanding accountability, the situation has escalated. That letter wasn't a PR stunt. It was an official inquiry asking why the league continues to ignore a pattern of physical play targeting one of its most visible stars. Not for special treatment, just for basic, professional-level protection. And when a top-tier financial outlet says this may be a civil rights issue, it's not just an opinion anymore. It's a legal warning shot. Then came national commentators who, love them or hate them, have major platforms, and they pointed out the obvious. This might get political. Imagine a major political figure stepping in, talking about protecting Clark. The internet would explode. Half the country would cheer, the other half would rage, and the league would find itself splashed across front pages for reasons they never intended. But maybe that's what it takes. Because right now, it seems the league doesn't care about media, fans, or even players. Maybe they'll care when Washington shows up with subpoenas instead of sneakers. Clark's effect on the league is unmatched. She's a once-in-a-generation presence. So why is she being treated like a liability instead of an asset? She's drawing fans from across the country. Kids are buying her jerseys. Families are spending money they don't have to see her in person. And then she gets knocked out of games like she's some walk-on. That's not just disappointing, that's dangerous. Imagine paying hundreds to watch a star like LeBron or Curry, only to see them get taken out in the second quarter with no foul called. That wouldn't fly. And there's more. The rise of sports betting means money is on the line. If the league's top player keeps getting battered with no whistles, it's no longer just a bad look, it's a potential integrity issue. And that means investigations. Behind closed doors, players have reportedly discussed how physical to get with Clark. That's not an assumption, that's been confirmed. And now that one of those players is her teammate, even she admits it's gone too far. When your own team thinks you're getting abused, that says a lot. And then there's the layer no one wants to touch: race, orientation, and marketability. Clark is white. She's straight. She's wildly marketable. And there are people who just don't like that. A former player openly admitted to being bullied for being straight. Clark now appears to be taking that same heat for being white, straight, successful, and visible. That's not culture. That's a civil rights risk. When sports, money, discrimination, and silence come together, it's not long before the government takes notice. And leadership? Still silent. The commissioner was hired to do two things: grow the league and protect its stars. And yet here we are, watching the most bankable name in the sport get tossed around like a practice dummy. And if this keeps up, Clark might not lead the league, she might sue it. Because complaints are growing and video evidence is piling up. We have the footage. We have the missed calls. And it's not just bad PR anymore, it's legal documentation. The league had so many chances to get ahead of this. They could have penalized the key players who took the cheap shots. They could have told the refs to enforce the rules consistently. But they didn't. They stalled. Now they've got lawmakers writing letters, fans turning away, and media calling them out daily. The excuses people make are honestly wild. She's just being hazed. Except this isn't college orientation. This is a professional league, and Clark is not a rookie. She led in assists, was an MVP candidate, and now she's getting beaten down every other night. This isn't about earning stripes. She already did that. Now she's earning bruises. And let's not pretend this is just part of the game. You don't see other stars taking these kinds of hits without punishment. When it happens to anyone else, there's action. But with Clark, it's like the league dares the world to call it out. People say she talks too much. Really? Show me a player in any pro league who doesn't. Trash talk isn't new. It's part of competition. Or the classic, she's cocky. So what? Since when is confidence a reason to get slammed on national TV? Then there's the ridiculous claim she's not used to physical play. The woman led the NCAA in scoring while being triple-teamed nightly. She didn't suddenly forget how to play physical ball. What changed is the environment, one that's turning physical play into thinly veiled assaults. And the league's biggest problem? It's not even the hits, it's the denial, the deflection, the gaslighting. Mention the problem, and suddenly you're the enemy. But real respect for the game means holding it accountable. It means calling cheap shots what they are, not hard plays or accidents. Some players are even reveling in it, acting like hitting Clark is some team bonding ritual. Social media shade, cryptic tweets, petty interviews. This isn't healthy competition, it's bitterness, and it's cheapening the product. New fans brought in by Clark are starting to notice. They came for the talent and stayed for the show, but now they're wondering if they accidentally bought tickets to a backyard fight club. The league had a golden opportunity, a player who could revolutionize the brand, boost the fan base, and drive long-term growth. But instead they shrugged. They ignored the obvious. They thought it would all blow over. Now, the government is circling. Media is torching them. Influencers and analysts are dissecting legal statutes on live TV. This didn't need to happen. All the league had to do was the bare minimum. Call fouls, issue warnings, protect their investment. But they didn't. And now it's not just a sports story. It's legal, political, and cultural. The silence has invited scrutiny. The lack of discipline has created liability. This is no longer just about one player. It's about leadership, about direction, and about what kind of future the league actually wants. Imagine the NBA letting Curry,